Hi, everyone. My name is Apollonia Ponti. I'm a dating relationship coach, and I work with men, and I'm definitely here for the women, too, so don't you worry. What is wifey material? From a woman's perspective, so I think wifey material is not all about, like, traditional, like how it used to be. Like, does she cook? Does she stay at home? Will she take care of the kids? You know, I think it goes beyond that now. I think wifey material for a woman, as a woman's perspective, is like a confident woman, a woman that knows what she wants, a confident woman that knows how to articulate herself with problem solving or communication or conflict, someone that is emotionally available, someone that she doesn't have to be healed, obviously, but she has to know her flaws and what she's working on and what she's working through, right? Mm-hmm. She takes care of herself physically, emotionally, and financially. You know, I think that's the biggest one that men are missing, is that there's so many women out here that are taking care of themselves financially, and they are all about this independent life, right? But also, too, if you want to have a woman that is independent, we have to be asking for the right things, too, and that is she financially capable to take care of herself, right? I think that's a big one that men are missing. They think that, okay, I can take care of her because that's my job. But that's back in the traditional world, right? Mm-hmm. But now we're in this new age world. That's not a man's job until he becomes probably in a relationship with a woman, and then the marriage, and that's up for discussion. Obviously, we'll get into that. But I think that's what, you know, a wife material is a woman that knows what type of man that she wants. And she's very clear on that. And it's not superficial standards. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like clear, values driven, something that's going to, a woman that knows what she wants from a man that she can build a life with, that she can assume her goals with, right? That she can look at in the face of a man and say, this is the child. I want my man to raise the child that I want, right? Mm-hmm. And put that trust in him. I think that is a woman, if she can make a clear, conscious decision on what that man will look like, that I think is wifey material.
So you mentioned superficial. Like, what if she does have superficial values and she's like, I'm not settling for a man who can't provide me this lifestyle or match this. Like, for a man, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I think that happens to a lot of women, you know, but I also think that's like the top 3% of women, let's be honest, right? I don't like to put women on a 1 to 10 scale, right? But there's
being
women,
realistic.
Yeah, but there's women that we say are beautiful women that men would call a 10, which I don't like to do, but are beautiful women, right? They're on Instagram, they have all these filters, they show their body, they show their booty, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's cute. And sometimes I'm like, wow, she's hot. Sometimes I've even noticed that I get mad that the girl's so hot that I unfollow her. And then I go back and I follow her again because she's so pretty, right?
Wow.
So it's not like I'm hating on the girl. It's just like, man, she's so pretty, you know? Anyways, but what I'm saying here is that one of the things that I truly, truly believe is that when a woman is in that top, let's say 3%, and she gets a lot of attention from men, right? Of course, she's probably going to ask for more from men because she has the abundance to ask for it, right? But do you truly want a woman that has that abundance? Because think about it. If she has that abundance and everything comes naturally and easier to her, what is she working on? How is she? Her dependence comes on the financial stability of a man, or the man that can put her on the private jets and the yachts. And she's so infatuated with the superficial needs of life that it feels empty sometimes to be with her. And I coach men all the time that get these women because they feel unfulfilled after 6 months or a year.
They get the women, or they want them?
Oh, they get them. Yeah.
See, I try to stay away from them.
Yeah. But then you have the women that are beautiful and they're right in the middle, but a lot of men are not seeing them, right? Because they're not the girls that are posting so much on Instagram.
Yeah.
They're the girls that are just living their life, doing their thing. Maybe they post a post of them, her and her girls going out for dinner. And it's not like this glam post, but she has a cute outfit on. And if you saw her in person, she probably even looks better, you know? And then she's the one that's working on her career, working on her health, you know? And so I think that brings us back to the question is like, why? And this is why I'm so driven to work with men, is because the man that is on that yacht, the man that is in that helicopter or flying to Europe or doing this and buying bags, he probably had to work his whole life to get to a position where he's in. I'm not talking about a trust fund baby because those don't come. Those come very seldom, right? But he worked his whole life, and then he has a 20-year-old on his arm that didn't have to do anything for that, and he worked his whole life.
He's usually not 25.
No. Exactly. But here's the thing: it's not to say that what he's doing is right or wrong, you know. But it's also too, there's principles that come into it. It's a lack of connection. I think that's really happening in our world today. It's a lack of connection, and it's a lack of false sense of security, I should say. And so I think for a man, it's really important for men to really figure out, like, what is it that they're looking for? What are their weaknesses? Like, that's the biggest thing. When a man can be defiant in his weaknesses and be really clear and honest with himself in that and start to get better, he'll start attracting better women that are right there in the middle. And you'll be surprised. Those ones that are right in the middle are amazing. And when they get into a relationship with a man, they become even more amazing. They become prettier. They become fitter. They become financially well off if they have a good man by them. They become successful. They become happier. I mean, it's so much. A good man right with a woman and walking in life in a really good, healthy relationship. And I say this to men all the time. A man is so powerful in our world, especially when he chooses his woman, because the woman that he chooses, if he is a good man, that woman will be at a 10 in every area of her life, because he is her source of, like, not in her source of happiness, but in what I'm saying inside, but her source of happiness for drive, for security, for safety, for purpose. And when a woman has that sense of security, purpose, and safety and connection with a man, she's in love with him. Like, there's no stopping her. She will be at her all-time best. I definitely know in the male community, I think, and I believe, this is just my belief, and I think a lot of men can agree with me on this because you guys see it and you're in it every day. I think society is really going after men. And I don't mean like, oh, society is trying to weaken men. I don't think that in general aspects, but I do think that they're trying to allow men to have bad behaviors and bad habits. Right? So, for example, if you go on Instagram, right? So I can pull up probably any guy's phone and I go to his explore page and I know there's going to be girls that are in bikinis and showing butts.
Not any guy.
In the explore page, right? Hold on. But not any guy. Yeah. But it's like, for example, my husband, he's all about sports. His explore page is all sports because that's all he looks at, right, on Instagram. But there's always that one bikini in there. There's always that one girl in that explore page. You see
and you know it's not his fault, right?
No, of course not. I know that. I trust my husband completely with my whole life. But the thing is, like, that's what I see just with him. And I know he's not even doing. Imagine men that are single and they know their algorithm is on a dating app.
It's funny because I kind of did a test with myself because I'm really into sports too. And at one point, I was running a sports social media page and I had to find sports content every day for my job. So my explore page, I would love when women would be like, I know your explore page is full of, but no, here you go, look, it's all sports. And then it was always that one bit, and it's like big boobies out, the booty out. I'm like, why?
The worst one, too,
Why? The
probably.
worst one, yeah. And of course, you live down the street or something like that. And I'm like, yo, and I know what you mean because it's just like it throws it at you.
Yeah. And then there's pornography. Let's talk about pornography. Pornography is 95% male dominated.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Right? It really just.
Are you saying the consumers?
Yeah, the consumers, right? It's 90 to 95%, right? And it's just feeds the male mind with nonsense, to be honest. And it really makes a man kind of disassociate with life, dating, and women. And then also, too, we're not teaching men to have standards for the women they date, right? So I always use this example with men and women because I know when I wanted to find a husband, I was done dating. I was done being a Miami girl. I've been through it all. That's why I'm so good at what I do because I've been through every stage. I was that girl that was in a yacht before, too. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wait, so is it the certifications or is it the yacht?
Don't judge me. I'm being honest. It comes. That's my material now.
Okay,
There's a reason why I was put there, and it's working in my advantage now to help men. Okay. So one of the things I was saying is like, you know, when we go back and we think about like men's journey and like choosing a woman, right? And there's like this social media aspect. There's pornography, and also too we have to think about like what is the advice that we're giving our men, right? It's always like, buck up, you know, like it's not I don't believe that men need to be so vulnerable where they're seeing crying and showing their deepest, darkest secrets and being like, here's all my emotions on a platter, do something with it and help me. Like that, I don't believe in that, is not what I'm saying, because I do think that they have to hold a frame of emotional stability, but it is okay to fall sometimes, you know what I mean? But think about this. As I tell men this. I don't know. Do you guys have sisters, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So you probably heard your parents or yourself even telling your sisters, make sure you choose a man that treats you good. Make sure he is this way. Make sure he's financially stable. Make sure he has a great job. Make sure he has a good relationship. Make sure with his family. Make sure he's family oriented. Make sure, right? So they're trained at a young age to already pre-qualify men. But how many times are we growing up with little boys in our household saying, make sure you choose a good woman, and here's what she looks like?
Yeah.
Never really. It's like very low.
Compared to how often little girls get it.
Exactly. And so we're not preaching to men like, here's what a healthy woman looks like. When you choose a wife, it's going to be the most important decision that you make as a man. Like, I have a son, and the one thing I always think about is like, there's going to be one day that I have to give him up to a woman. And that woman better be amazing. And so I'm going to teach him and I'm going to show him what amazing is. And for any women that are watching now, I know that women with sons think like this too.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so if we go into the aspect with women, instead of, there's this huge divide between men and women. And so if men can just step aside and say, if I had a daughter, and if women can just step aside and say, if I had a son, what woman would you want your son to date? Is it you? If you want more information about me and want to see some of my content and see how I can help you, just go to my YouTube channel. It's Apollonia Ponti. You can Google it. You can go on YouTube. You can spell it any way that you like to spell it, and it'll still come up.